Hello, good afternoon. Well, it is the afternoon here in the UK. I'm guessing it's the afternoon over there, Piccia.
It is indeed. It's been the afternoon for a good 4 hours already here in Europe.
Piccia's been all
Spain.
over Europe this morning. She's been like to several countries.
So I've literally just flown over from Italy. Hey, Nick is here. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
So I flew over from Italy. That's it. But it is miraculous. I had a moan about airports. We can talk about that later. We can talk about your
Yeah.
apps, but
Let's do the real thing. So we're here. We do this monthly show. It's called the WP Builds UI and UX with Piccia Neri show. It's quite a mouthful, but the principle is that we get some submissions from people out in our audience, and they send us their websites that they would like Piccia to have a look at, and she does just that. We've got about 50 minutes. Couple of quick bits of housekeeping, if that's all right. First thing to say is if you fancy sharing this stream, if you think that you'd like other people to join in that would be interested, head over to wpbuilds.com/live. If you go there and you're logged into Google, because it's a YouTube video over there, then you'll be able to comment. The other alternative is to go to wpbuilds.com/Facebook. That's the second URL in that little thing on the screen. And that's our Facebook group. And you can share it there. And obviously, you have to be logged into Facebook. Facebook have got this weird thing where if you don't authorize them another time, then we don't know who you are. And you have to go to chat.restream.io/FB. And then we can see your avatar and all stuff like that. Please feel free, as the show goes on, to put some comments in. We'll endeavour to show any of them that are pertinent as the show goes on. But yeah, how are you doing then, Piccia? You ready for this?
I am so ready. As you know, I really enjoy it so much. It's so much fun to see you on a monthly basis as well.
Yeah,
So that's really great. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
And more housekeeping for you.
Oh.
Maybe you was going to do it at the end, but in case you were going to do it at the end, but in case we forget, just put the URL or where you can submit your site.
Yes, indeed. That's the right one just there. So if after watching this or halfway through, you think to yourself, I would really like for Piccia to dissect my site and give me some tips and tricks and things like that, then you can do that. wpbuilds.com/UI. There's a form over there. We just require some basic stuff, like your name, your URL. But also, we are accepting what used to be called dark patterns. But what are they called now? Deceptive design. Is that right?
Deceptive design, because it's one of those terms that are not inclusive and offensive to some people. And it's one of those situations where I'm like, yeah, I don't mind. If it somehow bothers you, then I call it deceptive design. It's actually more descriptive, because dark pattern is a little bit, what is it? Could be anything. Deceptive design it says what it is, which is a design that can be design done with writing or done with UI, with interface. But basically, what's the word? Patterns. They are patterns or tricks that try. There's a word that I'm looking for. It's escaping me, but I'm sure it'll come back.
Well, they sort of try to get you to perform an act that you didn't intend to perform.
Exactly, one way or another. And some of them are really evil. And the thing is, they are so prevalent. And sometimes I think we've seen in other times when we've come across them and talked about them. There are some cases where clearly the person who's doing it just hasn't been advised correctly. That there's no ill intent. But in some cases, there is ill intent, and I'm all for naming and shaming.
Well, we're going to do that a little bit later. But as I said, if you want to submit, it's wpbuilds.com/UI. There's the form. It's pretty simple. There's a few fields to fill out, and you can upload a screenshot of your site if you'd like to do that. But okay, let's crack on then, shall we? First of all, thank you, Nick. You're the only person that's made a comment so far. It's very nice to have you with us, all the way from Zurich, he says. So that's very nice to have you. The wonders of the modern age. How cool is that? Right, let's share Piccia's screen and we'll get stuck into the first site.
Which is Nick's site. So that's why he's here.
There you go. Got it. So let's put the URL up. This is tastewp.com.
So what we do in that form? Someone from Montreal. Hello, Montreal, Dahlia.
Oh, hello,
So,
Dahlia.
which is a lovely name. So we say in the form, we ask to give information, which I think is really good to have. But I actually, full disclosure, don't try and not look at the information, because I actually look at the information afterwards, because I want to be completely unbiased. I have not tested this site before, because if I did, it would, I think, take away some of the spontaneity from the show. So this website. I have just cast an eye on the on the form, so I have seen it a little bit. But so I live in Spain, so it's localized me already, which
Mm.
I sound. Well, the thing is that I am not normal, because I don't really. I mean, if I'm used to using a site in a certain language, I want to use it in English. But then it's not. It's not what everyone. Oh, we've got Ottawa. We've got lots of Canada. How
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
So, but look at how Taste WP care about localization. I mean, honestly, I'm so impressed. Look at this. Look at how many
Whoa,
languages. This is
whoa,
amazing. I mean,
whoa.
straight off the bat, this
Ooh.
is brilliant UX, because people from all these countries are going to feel like Taste WP care about them, and UX is all about care. So I have to say that straight off the bat, this is incredible. And I'm just going to move to English, just because most of our viewers
Yeah,
actually
I
speak
appreciate
English.
that
So
because I will
it's
be able to see it more easily. That's great. Thank you.
so but I really like that. I think, and it's so easy to actually change to a different language. So thanks for that. I really like it, because I hate it when I get localized and then I'm frantically and I'm like, no, I don't want this in this language. And then I'm frantically looking for how to change the language, and it's buried in the footer or really hard to find. So hats off, Nick. That's really great. Well done. So yeah, love the localization. So let's see. Do you remember? Because we haven't done one of these for a while, because we started the show again a while ago, but we didn't actually do a user submitted site,
No,
not for a
that's
long
right.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is, do you remember that the first thing that I do, there's a pattern to my madness, is always like, how long does it take me to understand what this site is doing? I mean, it's a famous 5 seconds test. It actually is a UX test. When you do UX testing, you do the 5 seconds test. You get someone, it could be someone random in a cafe, anywhere. It's not, you don't have to spend money on testing, but you get someone who's never seen your site and you show it to them and say, what does my site do? And here, get a taste of WordPress. Set up a new WordPress instance now. Did you know Taste WP, Nathan?
I confess I've heard of it, but I haven't actually browsed this site before. So, no.
So, yeah, I would say that I'd be like, oh, what do you mean? Because and I haven't tried it, so I don't know how this works. Because to be so to set up a WordPress instance, the way if I want to set up a sandbox site and test out ideas and design and so on. David Mitchell from Virginia, hello. I think we met last year at my conference, didn't we? I think. So David Mitchell is a really good name. There's a fantastic writer
A
called David
comedian in the
Mitchell,
UK
and
as
there's
well.
a fantastic comedian called David Mitchell. There's a really good name. And I had a designer friend who was a very good designer as well. Anyway, I always digress a lot, don't I?
It's
Very
okay.
annoying.
It's okay.
Anyway, so I would think, okay, I want to set up I want to experiment, or I want to, do a new version of a site or whatever. So first thing I do is I head off to my server and I set up a new WordPress installation. So that takes a while. I think we've got Lee Jackson as well. He's literally shouting that he knows me. Bless him. Hello, Lee. So, so there's a process and it takes a little while. I mean, it's not terribly taxing. It's a heck of a lot easier than it used to be, because most servers, I mean, I use Cloudways, but most servers that you use, you just literally click a button and it sets up the site. It usually isn't any
Yeah.
more than that. So, but here is the what? I don't need to go on the server. So, because I've been asked to, I'm looking at the UI and the UX of this. So, I guess that we're going to start from the UX, because the UI is, I feel, really important, and I have a few things to say. But what I bless, here's Lee again. So one thing, and we're probably going to talk about this later, we said, Nathan. So this website uses cookies to ensure you get the best experience on our website. Got it. Now, this isn't good enough. And it is, because for now it will do, but it isn't good enough, because you should David Mitchell, the least famous David Mitchell I know of. So I shouldn't look at the comments.
Don't look at the comments,
they make me leave. They make me leave.
Yeah.
They make me laugh. They make me laugh. So anyway, got it isn't good enough, because you need to give people the option. And I mean, hands up, I don't think my sites are doing this well enough. You need to give people the option to reject the cookies, and we'll talk about that later. Is going to be part of.
So, as opposed to it just being a got it button, which dismisses what looks like, I'm guessing maybe it's a convert box or something like that, thing popping up at the bottom, you need to have an option to say, I don't know, accept certain cookies or reject or whatever.
Reject. Or give me the option, because that's basically what the GDPR is about. If you don't do that, if you just let me know you use cookies, you're not complying with GDPR. As far as I know, because I sort of on purpose, my knowledge of GDPR is limited on purpose, because I don't want to be it bores me, and it's annoying. It's really the UX of all sites is worse since. However, it's there for a good reason, and actually we'll talk about it later. But so, Nick, you're going to have to look at that and stay until the end, because we'll talk about it, and there are solutions. Like I said, I don't do it well enough. So set it up, no sign up required. I agree with the terms. So I'll talk about the UI later. There's a couple of things here. So I don't like that it does. No. That fancy stuff is dangerous. It could be not accessible, and there's no real need for it. But I think that we're just going to set it up, aren't we? No sign up required. I'll tell you what I really like. You're telling me all that I need. Set it up, no sign up required. I guess I have to click, and I agree with the terms. I guess if I click on this without, please agree with our policy. This is without a doubt. I'm gonna give you a UI anticipation. This is not accessible. This is way too low, the contrast of your white against your yellow. You need to look at a contrast checker later. Contrastchecker.com. So and I think this is borderline. This white on this gradient, I think it's not contrasty enough. Also, the font is very, 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 very thin. So you're on thin ice there. Pun. So set it up. Okay, I'll agree with the terms. I'll agree. Also, I don't know what the terms are there. I could, I guess, go and see them. What? I mean, is it done?
That was mighty fast. I was watching that actually, and it did an awful lot very, very quickly. It was the anticipated stuff like setting up the database and what have you, but that was, what, 3 seconds, maybe?
That is incredible.
Yeah, that was nice.
So your brand new site is here. Your credentialing info, copy. How convenient. Has it copied everything? I don't know what it's copied.
I imagine it's probably copied the URL there, and then you'd have to come
URL,
back.
Yeah. So access it now. Remember that you can manage your sites in user dashboard. Okay, so then you have a user dashboard. I haven't signed up yet. You know, there's an example of really good UX that I bring up very often, which is the Duolingo website. You know, the language learning. Because you can start learning a language without signing up, and I think that's awesome. You have to copy it all. Nick is saying copy it all. Honestly, this so far is like. So that's why I don't do it before, because this is my astonishment at how great the experience has been so far is genuine. I had not done it before.
So well, I've just clicked the button and it gets better.
Access it now. That's what I would do instinctively, because thank you for giving me. Oh my God. What?
So Can I just interrupt here very, very quickly?
Please.
Can I suggest, Nick, that that big, I'm going to call it advertisement, but it's not an advertisement. It's basically telling you that you've got 2 days left, and here's your username and password. That a bit of me didn't know that I was in WordPress. I actually didn't notice the sidebar of WordPress because I've got another tab overlapping, so that's my fault. But I really genuinely didn't notice that I was in WordPress. My screen's a lot smaller, and it was only the mere fact there was a little bit of blue at the bottom. On Peach's screen, you can see the 5.9 in the balloons. That was only a tiny bit visible. So I might not have known
Right.
that I was directly in WordPress. That is so fast, though, Nick. Unbelievably quick.
Honestly, what? So, okay. So again, you've got very, very, very light green here. I'm not gonna do the contrast checker, but you've got that issue. And then, how long had it been since I last mentioned centered text?
And I think it's a while because it strikes me that almost nobody here may have heard you before. You've
I
got a
think
strong opinion
Sherry
on
knows
making
me.
it
Ah,
left
I
aligned
think
if you possibly can.
I think there are a few people here that might have heard it before, but I'm gonna say it because I wouldn't want to disappoint them. So basically, when you align text, you've done your user interface a huge favor already, and the cognitive processes of your viewers another huge favor, because there are a few Facebook. I have to start looking in the comments. So basically, text that is centered line is not aligned, and I find it really hard to be able to actually pass the information that is in there. And because also of the low contrast here, I had to really struggle a bit. Um, and also, I have picture on my shoulder if I see the center button. I did look at the comments. So, and you want for people to see this. This is really crucial information because this is the way you've done this is brilliant. You're giving me this for 2 days, which is quite generous. And then you're telling me if you don't want it to expire, then log in, which means then you do have my email address, you do have, and I imagine there will be a pricing, but really I don't feel forced to do anything here. So that's it's just this is just great. It's to my advantage. There isn't anything that has made me feel like you're forcing something on me. So I would say that so far, so brilliant. I'm really enjoying this. So what I'm wondering is, I suppose you've set up. So what does it look like if
Well,
I?
you're in a vanilla installer WordPress,
No,
but
I just want to visit the
there's a couple of
site.
little nice things that he's thrown in for free. He's got a back-in migration plugin built in. It's one that I've never used, but I'm kind of hoping that if I was to fiddle with this website for a couple of days and be really happy with it, I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to use the back migration tool to actually back this up and send it somewhere else. It looks like a pretty comprehensive solution. I've not used it before. I don't know if it's proprietary to you, Nick, or if this is a freely available repo plugin, but that's a cool thing to have added. Nice job.
Yeah, I also like this copy and delete post. Are you saying that there's an option, an alternative to duplicate posts to Enrico Battocchi's legendary
There's
plugin?
several. Yeah, there's quite a few. For example, Yoast have got one called Duplicate Posts, which they bought a
No,
couple
no,
of years
that's
ago.
him. No, but that is him.
Oh,
That's him.
okay,
So they
okay.
bought. So that was, that is one of my. It's a long story. It would be a digression, but anyway, when I met the author of that plugin that was then bought by Yoast a couple of years ago, I was like, he's a very nice guy. Anyway, long story short, but this
I,
sounds like quite good because delete them in one go sounds interesting.
Okay, so he says the backup plugin is their own plugin, which is even more remarkable. I'm wondering, therefore, Nick, is this? Forgive me for asking. Is this something which has a paid tier? In other words, if I sort of get into this backup solution that you've created in here, am I able to buy it as an option as well? Because I notice you've got a support feature built into there as well. Yeah, this is another thing. I'm really keen to know what the infrastructure is that you've got to create this, Nick, because this is unbelievably fast. I'm just clicking around on post pages, comments, plugins, users, and all that. And as far as I can work out, it's more or less instant.
Yeah, it is.
It's really, really quick. By the way, Piccia, you can dismiss that great big green thing by clicking that OK, got it plugin.
Which is great. Look, it's gone. You're not pestering me with it.
Now you would never know that you had used that solution to create this website for 2 days. It's basically vanilla WordPress with a couple of four plugins thrown in for good measure. 99% of the users don't hear Nick saying that the backup plugin is there are optional features for paid members, but 99%. Okay, yeah, I'm going to have to look at that. Nick, reach out to me at admin at wpbuilds.com, and I'd love to get you on a podcast to talk about that.
So yeah, because I mean, I have so many questions. So is this like I can use any plugin? I can
Are
use
now
premium
basically
plugins?
you now have a free install of WordPress for, it looks like,
and
2
I can
days,
add
and
any plugin,
right. Yeah, the setup form is gorgeous.
gorgeous.
I
It
think
is.
maybe, Piccia, we should just quickly nip back to Nick's actual site, because now we're
do
just
it.
looking at WordPress, aren't we? So
Yeah, we are.
should we just carry on looking at this?
Yeah, let's do that. So Nick, as far as UX goes, I mean, flawless. I would say flawless. I mean, the thing that you pointed out, Nathan, was more UI than it was UX.
Thank you.
But the actual experience that I've had is like, wow, I'm floored by it. It's amazing. So now I have this. And in fact, I'm wondering whether the reason why you have this, because I know that your company, Nick, does more stuff. So maybe you're using it just as a loss leader that gets you people through the door and gets them to love you, because I'm sure that they do. I mean, this is so great, so helpful. So yeah, so in that case, I will point out the UI stuff, because I feel like you do have a few UI issues to look at. And one thing, actually, I'm gonna try. The Wave plugin.
Okay, for the
Wave
accessibility.
plugin for the accessibility, but I tried it before and I wasn't able to make it work on this side. So anyway, but I just this pop up here. I would say that you do have this slight contrast problem, and I contrast in terms of both colors and contrast in terms of the typeface that you use, the thickness of it not having enough contrast from the background. And I think that you would find that that's the case across the board. But if I click on the Wave plugin, see, it doesn't work. Maybe it's not allowed to work. I don't know why. So look, Wave is the accessibility plugin by webaim.org. And even though it says now Wave has access to this site, I click on it and nothing happens. So I can't actually show you where the accessibility issues would be. And I mean, a Wave plugin is by no means infallible, but it would tell me, for instance, things like the structure. So I can tell you the contrast issues straight away. I can tell you the alignment issues straight away. So if I feel like that plugin, it shows the HTML structure, which I feel is really important. But anyway, so here I told you already about that, about the contrast. And I would say here also, be careful not to have too much going on visually, because here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's basically you've got 5 blocks. That is to say 5 blocks. And each of them is visually different from the other. So even though it's good to have differentiation, but you also it's visual clutter. When it's too much, then it becomes visual clutter. Then again, here, zero alignment. I am having a really hard time. I don't have any cognitive issues, but I have, just because of the way my eye is used to organizing information, I have a really hard time to pass the information here because there's no alignment. It's all like all over the place. And I know that in a way it's good because it's good to create a little bit of dynamism. But I think that actually orderly sites are just easier to understand. And you really want for people to understand. I mean, what you've got in your favor is that if people go above the fold here and just set it up, you're sorted because it's just so great, So tips and tricks, pre-install plugins, pre-install theme templates, WP directory tools. So a link like, okay, so here I don't really understand.
Yeah, it's quite technical, that, isn't it?
I'm having a little bit of, I like the way you've done this because you don't have a slider. Let me just say what I really like this. It's not a slider. It's either it's tabs here or you can clearly navigate here. So that's great. That's really well done in terms of directing. But I don't, but that maybe that's me, but I would, yeah. What do you think, Nathan?
Well,
About
I was able to tab through the interface at the top, which worked well for me, and then I end up on all the links, and they're all very clear. And they're, if you actually tab through them, you get the blue box circling each link, so you know where you are visually on the screen. All of that looks really great to me. Can I just say, Nick, that the one thing that I've got out of this is how ludicrously fast it was to set that site up. And forgive me, I don't mean to tell you what I would do, but I'm going to say what I think might be good is if this strap line at the top where it says "Get a taste of WordPress," Piccia's not showing it at the moment, but the strap line right at the top, just emphasizing how crazy fast that is would be really interesting. So you sort of alluded to it with your rocket underneath with "Get started with WordPress quickly," but honestly, I think you could easily put the words "in under 5 seconds" and not be bending the truth. And
in under
that's
3,
pretty
maybe.
yeah, and it's pretty
Actually, no, it wasn't.
astonishing.
It was 4. It was 4 seconds. It was under. It was 444. So it
Right.
was under 5 seconds.
Yeah. So I think something like that because why not? If you've got them for 5 seconds and they think they can be up and running with a WordPress website in under the time that they would typically give you a chance, that seems like a really nice UVP. And I know that there are other services similar to this where you can spin up, but I've never seen it implemented as fast as that. I really like the advanced options as well. That's really clean and clear. But you're obviously addressing developers here, aren't you? You're not necessarily, because of some of the complexity of the things that you're doing, like adding things to the end of the slug and so on in order to install plugins. And I think you've got the language just right. Get a taste of WordPress. But I think having in under 5 seconds, to me, I am so much more likely to press the button just to see if that's true, as much as anything else. Oh, really? 5 seconds? Oh, yeah, I doubt it. And yet there it was. But blindingly good. Like, nothing to do with the UI and the UX. I am really impressed with the service.
But that is UX.
Yeah.
I mean, speed is a big part of UX.
Yeah.
And for a service like this that's aimed at industry, then it's crucial. So I have to say, in terms of UX, just hats off, perfection. I can't floor it.
The tips and the tricks lower down, Piccia. Obviously, Piccia, she didn't enjoy reading that and so quickly moved on. Maybe,
No.
maybe.
No, it's just because I was trying to understand what it meant.
But yes, sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, and
okay.
yeah,
I think
I
this
don't
is
know
done
if.
really well.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I won't mention that.
I mean, the way the information is presented is exemplary because I'm giving. It's very clear. I mean, apart from the slight UI issue, but it's very clear, and I got 2 options. I mean, it couldn't be better in that sense.
Have a look at that FAQs. Just slide down a little bit. I've never seen that before. Look, it's an accordion inside an accordion. Click the little 1-2 button at the bottom. See that right at the bottom of that accordion? Look, there's another.
I love it.
I've never seen that. That's really cool.
It's it's a slider. It's an accordion inside a slider, a
That's
carousel
great.
kind
I
of
love
thing.
that. I think that's
Yeah, it
quite cool.
is.
It's a
I really
great
like
use of
it.
space, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's hats
So
off, isn't it? It's like top marks.
top marks. I will just make, I mean, I made the accessibility points, but I will make another one because it's becoming important to me and it's sort of harking back to my roots because I was a purely creative designer. And one thing that I'll be honest, I am bored with a little bit because also I've decided I'll be um, blunt. I mean, not that I wasn't before, probably, but just so why let yourself down in just having a site that visual? I mean, you've got this incredible product, like incredible and so useful as well, that really has a place in the marketplace. Why don't you invest in the design a little bit more? Because every single other, IT, whatever tech website looks like this at the moment. They all look exactly the same. And it's because, I mean, it's good. It's not, I'm not saying it's bad design. Whoever designed it did a nice job. I'm not saying it's not a nice job. But why not try and really, because you've done, I mean, this is design. So this is really very good design. So, but just well, consider accessibility first and foremost, of course, but also why don't we try and do something a bit more creative with the design that goes away from what everyone else is doing? Do you see what I mean?
How do you feel about a little short video where that image is on the right? I see that a lot when there's a product or service which is trying to explain their wares. You often see a quick like a 30-second video of what's going on. Maybe that's just
As
not
long
needed
as
here
you,
because you're through the whole
oh,
hurdle in about
it's
2 clicks,
quicker to
aren't
do
you?
it.
Yeah, yeah,
No, it's
exactly.
quicker
Yeah.
to do it. No, but the video is fine as long as it's possible to stop it. So autoplay video is a big accessibility no. So don't
Yeah,
do that.
yeah.
As long as you can stop the video. A video is always good, but I think in a way would be almost distracting. I think that, I mean,
Mm.
what is, because I tell you what, from a UX point of view, an image like this one, which has no purpose and it means nothing, um, nobody looks at it. It's just visual noise. So I would actually make it, it would be in a way more creative, more bold to get rid of all this. What do you need it for? I mean, I wish I could redesign this in a way, because it would be great to just do something, because you've got something that is so great. All that people should do is do it.
Yeah, it's
So
that set
I
it
would
off button.
make
That's
it,
the magic, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, that's it. What's the purpose of this image? I mean, there's plenty. I love images. I'm not saying that you shouldn't use images, but when it's an image that looks like a million others seen on a million other websites and it serves no purpose, literally it is visual noise. There's plenty of studies that research that proves that. So I would do I would do that. I would just do a really cool design that makes it stand out. I'm thinking, almost Apple like design. With I mean, honestly, I wish I could redesign this.
Can I just throw
So
a couple of comments in quickly? First one
yeah,
is just
please.
obviously this product is widely used because we've got Cameron Jones all the way from Australia. Hello, Cameron.
Yeah.
He says he loves Taste WP and uses it all the time. So, Nick, there's a big thumbs up from a fellow developer. And Peter Ingersoll's raised a question. I don't know if you want to answer it, Piccia. He says, how do you feel about the
Yeah.
FAQ section just being all visible? So at the moment, we've got a load of accordions and we've got an accordion slider. So there's two accordions side by side, one visible at a time. There's really not much of that content. To me,
Too much.
too much work versus scanning the Q&A. So I think what he's saying there basically, Nick, is if there's
Yeah.
only that amount of content, do we maybe get rid of the FAQ, great big image, and have it side by side or something like that?
So again, I get that. I think it's a fair comment. I like having stuff to do, but there's also a school of thought that says just any interaction that isn't necessary, get rid of it. And this would go well with what I was saying earlier, i.e., this image doesn't really do much. It could not be there, and your understanding of the site would be perfectly fine. So you could do that. You could just have all the FAQs not on the whole width, because that would make the text way too long. The character number, the character length in the line would be way too much, so it would make it not accessible. I see your point. I don't actually mind having to do this. It makes me think there's more. So in a way, which is called progressive disclosure, and it means that I've got more to read, and it makes me want to do it. But I feel like it's a fair comment, Peter, and it's definitely something that you could do. But I also love how there isn't that much on this page. Just, it's really just about what this is for.
Can I ask you what your thoughts on this are? If you just scroll right to the top, he's obviously selected taste because in this sense it means try it. But then he's gone for the word it's yummy. So he's kind of pointing to taste at the same time as something that you put in your mouth, So he's got taste as in give it a try, and taste as in it's yummy. Do you feel there's like some sort of dissonance there? Would it be something you'd play up, the whole the idea of things being
You
tried?
could do that. Yeah. You could do that. This is I don't mind. I think it's great. I think it's quite potentially quite clever pun. But then why not have food-based images?
That was where I was going with that. Yeah.
So you know what? When this ties so nicely with a conversation, let's say, that I've been having with people, because I am really becoming a stronger and stronger proponent of accessibility at all costs. And that simplifies stuff. And it means that you don't use animations that don't make sense. Like, I wouldn't do this. It doesn't add anything to the experience. It actually just confuses me. Is it broken? It just doesn't, because there's nothing else there that is on the theme of, it just doesn't. Yeah. So, and people say, oh, but then how can you be creative? And I'm like, no, sorry, I don't think that creativity doesn't mean being able to animate stuff.
Yeah.
That's not what creative is. Creativity is saying, okay, how do we call our amazing tool that sets up WordPress instances at the speed of light? Let's call it Taste WP. Perfect. Okay, yummy. Let's find images that go with that. Yeah. Now, you have to have a good designer that knows how to do it, because otherwise you're probably going to make a dog's dinner of it.
Good.
Are you happy with me?
Yeah, I like it.
Are you happy with me?
Piccia, we are fast running out of time. Let's go. We've got about another 5 minutes. We haven't got time, I don't think, to do the other site. Let's hold that one back for next month. But we have two deceptive designs, two dark patterns. Do you want to just pick one and we'll use that? So sorry, first of all, thank you, Nick, for submitting your site, and hopefully that was
fab. Yeah. Thank you so much. It was just such a great site. So I am going to choose this one. So this is deceptive design, formerly known as dark patterns, is bad stuff, and basically manipulative. It's manipulative copy or manipulative interface that either irritates you or belittles you or manipulates you into doing something that you didn't want to do. So this is a post that I came across last week, and it's this marketer who's Ukrainian. She's in Ukraine. So it makes my hair stand on end. And I chose this example because it's extreme. It's an edge case, but it could be happening to anybody that you send your silly email to. So she received this email because she didn't respond to a sales email because she's in Ukraine. She didn't respond to a sales email. So, and she gets this email back that says, "You've fallen down the stairs and are unable to reply to this email." Actually, her father had fallen down the stairs. So so this is what happened. Let me.
So this is an email thread where we're using language as a deceptive pattern, are we? There's no sort of graphical tripwires. It's just language.
No, it's just language, but it's, as you know, I believe in content, content first design. And I believe that you design with words, and I believe that, and everybody does it, because everybody sends emails to their, everybody does marketing, everybody sends email to their clients. So 10 minutes before reading this email that she got, I called my dad, I'm reading now, who is in the hospital now waiting for surgery. He has fallen down the stairs and heavily injured his leg when delivering food to his village under the shelling. So they were being shelled by Russian bombs, and he fell down the stairs. And she receives an email that says, I've been trying to contact you for about a week, but I haven't managed to reach you. No, they have actually, you have reached me. I just chose not to answer because this is a cold flipping email. Yeah, I don't owe you an answer. So I'm guessing one of two things has happened. You've fallen down the stairs and are unable to reply to this email. You figured out a way to grow your social media presence and no longer require my service. And it's, and I'm actually wondering, I send emails out to, and I've got, I think in real terms, it's about 1,500, 1,600 people that actually receive my email. And I'm thinking, have I been sensitive enough to whatever situation they're in? Maybe sometimes I haven't. And just be, because, I mean, this is not, you don't need to be woke to understand that this is really in bad taste. And almost, I mean, not invariably, but most of the copy that tries to be funny is actually irritating. There is one, for instance, that when you click unsubscribe, then it takes you, it says, okay, we're breaking up. And it's like, no, we're not. I don't know you. We never had a relationship, so we're not breaking up. Don't irritate me. I'm very
Yeah.
unlikely to use you again. Because sometimes I unsubscribe because I know I don't have time for something, or I'm not reading the emails, but I may go back because there are, I dip in and out of stuff. I'm not going to go back. If you send me that, if your unsubscribe option has that silly copy, no hard feelings, or we're breaking up, or things like that, you've lost me. That's it. I'm gone. And something like this, can you imagine? I sincerely hope it actually gets worse. I sincerely hope it's the letter. All joking aside, please let me know you're okay, because I'm about to call an ambulance.
Oh no! Stop now. Yeah, come
I
on.
mean, the cringe level, the
Yeah.
cringe is so
The
high.
thing is, it's a vague attempt to play on some kind of emotional level, isn't it? But it's so clumsy, it misses the target really badly, and it's also bringing like personal injury, which the chances of that actually being the case in this particular circumstance are very remote. But nevertheless, yeah, that just
But
strikes me.
actually, they are very, but that's the whole point, about UX. You need to consider everybody. That's the thing, because they are remote. And guess what? They're not for her. It
Yeah,
happened to her father. So they're
yeah.
not so remote. We just don't know how many other people have actually fallen down the stairs.
Do you
You
know?
know,
I see this. I see this all the time now. It seems to be a recent trend in the email marketers' copybook, their playbook, to send a cold email and then almost immediately, within a day or so, follow up and kind of put the onus on you, like you've done something wrong by
yes.
not responding, and sort of push the emotional language of, oh, did you not see my previous email? I can't quite understand why you didn't. It's like, okay, well, we're best friends, are we? How is it that you managed to miss my email? Whereas all the time I'm just thinking, where is the unsubscribe button here? It seems to me the fastest way to alienate your prospective cold email contact.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
in fact, I nearly, in fact, I'm going to do it maybe for next time. I got so many emails recently that were exactly like that. And the heading even was like that. And just like going, are you okay? Things like that. Like, what? This
yeah,
is just, and one of them
yeah,
was actually, I did make a note of it. And I think it was someone else saying, this guy who I'd signed up to has asked me to check if you were all right because you haven't answered to his emails. I mean, can you
oh,
imagine someone
yeah,
else? And I actually then, because I've been busy and I've had other stuff happening, like for instance, he's fallen down the stairs. My mum fell down the stairs and she's been in hospital. Do you know what I mean? I could have
yeah.
received this, and it's not that remote a possibility. Anyway, I actually wanted to check because I think that the second guy, the way he phrased, the way he's phrased the heading really made me think, oh, do I know this guy? Has something happened? Do I owe them an answer? And then I thought, okay, I don't recall ever coming across this guy.
Yeah.
Maybe. So is that illegal? Has
Oh,
someone given
it's
them
not
my
even
email
cold
address?
outreach. It's just like
It's
illegal outreach. Yeah.
exactly. So I'm wondering even if it's illegal. And the thing is that maybe I can't be sure because I just randomly click on too many things. It's just I can't be sure that it's illegal.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it was definitely like And this guy is a sales guy, and I actually am looking for sales. But I know you have to go in
I
like a
do. I'm
minute.
afraid I do. Yeah.
So I just want to say, I want to say a few things, if I may just promote myself a little bit.
Of
I
course.
want to say that I am available for hire to actually carry out much more in-depth reviews that get you great results. So, and I'm also available to design stuff for you because this is what I do for a living. But I do lots of levels of reviews, like from simpler to much more involved and so on. But yeah, you can get this, you know. Yeah.
Where do we go, Piccia? Where would we go if we wanted to find you online? What's the best place?
I think that right now the best place is LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Definitely.
you're a big
Go
user of
find me on
LinkedIn, aren't you?
LinkedIn.
I'm kind of alien to LinkedIn, but you're there
But
doing the
you
good
don't need
fighting
it,
the
but
good fight. Yeah.
I am, yeah, indeed. And I'm liking it more and more. So yeah, and
So
that's how
search
you can
for
find me.
Piccia Neri on LinkedIn. Of course, you
So
can go
easy.
to.
That's only one.
Oh, is there really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I
It's
typed
not a
I
real
typed
name. So
in earlier because I didn't actually know offhand what your Twitter handle was. I just typed in Piccia Twitter, and guess who came up? It was you.
I joined in 2006. I mean, there's like Jack and me who go by our first name. Even Mark Hamill couldn't get Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
But
But
I've
look,
got Piccia.
so there you are. If you want to find her on Twitter, I don't know how often you're there. At least that one's on the screen.
I'm a lurker, but I
At
would. You can
Piccia,
contact me on Twitter.
as as now organised under the auspices of Elon Musk. Anyway, we won't get into that.
Oh, let's
Let's
not
not
go.
get into that. So, Piccia, we'll be back next month. We'll have another site. We've got one in the bag already. But please, 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 if you enjoyed that, please feel like sharing it. But also do remember that you can go to wpbuilds.com/UI and you can submit your stuff over there.
And if you want a pro review, much more involved and useful, you know what to do.
go to
Get in
Piccia
touch with
on
me.
Twitter or LinkedIn. All right, Piccia, we're going to
Perfect.
head off and I will see you soon. Thanks for those of you that joined us. Really appreciate it. And thanks for those people who made comments and appreciate you, Nick, saying that they were useful. Take it easy, guys.